Your 8-minute question and answer period will now begin. Looking at the triple bottom line, people, planet, and prosperity, is there one of those where your team could have done better?
I think for our team, we are focusing first on the value of our impact before we transition to a economic impact in terms of prosperity. So we are bringing a large amount of value to the community that we hope to have a sort of domino and ripple effect.
Have you engaged any subject matter experts in the development of your projects?
I can take this one. Yeah, so for the Dear Stranger project, actually, we have brought in some mental health experts and we've asked them some questions in order to help the international students who have just arrived to Canada if they're feeling any stress or loneliness or any sort of discomfort. The Dear Stranger project is a way for students to engage in order to help them be more at ease and feel more comfort.
Yeah, for Water Ed, we're still in the research and development phase, so we're really looking forward to hiring a freelance chemist or more experts in the field in order to continue the development process and ensure it's a marketable product before we throw it in the market.
And for GIFIN Lit, we didn't consult any expert per se because all the information we needed was available online. So our goal was just to condense and simplify that information for the students.
How does your team define success?
So we have a couple different ways of looking at it. As I said, there's a level of value that we are looking at that might be thought of as qualitative and subjective, but success for us, we can also derive quantitatively with data. So we're doing background research to get real numbers to inform the need of our project, and then from there we can measure how we perform. So for instance, I'll let the managers discuss their projects in that way.
So for example, for the Dear Stranger project, one of the ways that we can actually combine the statistics in order to analyze it, for the students who are connected to the university, they automatically have an email from the university. So through that, we send surveys that they can fill up, and that's how we get our stats for Dear Stranger project.
Yeah, for Water Ed and for I think success in general, I feel like also the setbacks or the challenges that we present that are presented to us throughout the journey are also steps for success. Because for example, for Water Ed, even though it still has a long way ahead of it and like we're missing a lot of research and development, I feel like we noticed what our weaknesses and strengths are, and so it's easier for us to move forward in the future.
And then for Getting Financially Lit, we were trying to get fully embedded in Thunder Bay and then get a module package for other organizations to use. And to achieve or see that we achieved this, we had a few tests or knowledge tests on our packages and presentations that we did to make sure we saw that our goals were achieved.
I would just like to add that we found that every single student that we tested achieved at least a grade of 75% on all of our knowledge tests. Thanks.
Do you have plans to scale your projects? Why and how?
Definitely for Water Ed. Sorry, James.
Yeah.
For Water Ed, we're still working on the prototype in order to be able to, the plan is to sell it online. So we'll create a Shopify account in order to be able to scale the project and actually market it. So that's the big picture plan for Water Ed.
And for the Dear Stranger project, what we're planning to do is to actually launch an app so that it's easier to scale the engagements from students who are international, who are either within Canada or outside Canada, to see how it's done and just to make it more accessible for the students.
And for Get Fin Lit, the first scaling goal is to scale locally so we can establish our project across Thunder Bay. And then we have a sister project called Get Fin Lit International, which is going to be more on a global scale to establish international students' financial literacy. And then we also have another project called Making Sense, which is tied in with Get Fin Lit, which is our scaling towards senior citizens and their financial literacy.
Did your team take any action to increase diversity and inclusion?
Our team is actually, being based in Thunder Bay, we are sort of almost by definition, because of our demographics, a very diverse area. And then further to that, there are a significant amount of international students that attend Thunder Bay. Our team is comprised of some of them, and our projects further reflect that.
Can you outline the costs related to the development of your projects?
We tend to take a very lean startup approach to our projects. We are very conservative with, thus far, how we are developing, and we want to have a very, again, like I say, a very conceptually sorry. We want to have a very value driven foundation to our project before we start to put in the extra financial investment. So much of our cost has actually been our time and the energy we put into developing the ideas conceptually.
Yeah, for Water Ed, for example, this first year didn't take a lot of cost. It was under $50, but because we're still in the prototyping stages, it didn't take a lot of money to fund the project. But then moving forward, as we hire new people and recruit new people, we're planning on spending and expanding our costs into the research and development and further marketability of the product.
How did you come up with the idea for your projects?
So our projects have very much been started through.
The time has now expired. Thank you, Nationals-Lakehead University, Thunder Bay.